Big Drive Energy live here on a Wednesday afternoon. I am at Big Drive Spence here with my co-host and brother, Big Drive Mitch.
What up?
What up, what up, what up? We are going to talk about Jon Rahm's Masters menu. We've got Yaya producing today. He's going to help us with some pronunciation and give us a little insight, potential insight to what this menu looks like and if it's fire or not from his perspective. Also going to talk about Wyndham Clark in the news again, not for a good reason. Took second place this past weekend at the Players' Championship. Missed a putt to tie the lead on the last hole, lipped it out all the way out, and now that's feeling like a little bit of karma. Also going to talk about a brokerage in Los Angeles that's buying up tee times and then gouging people for them. Smart investment or not. Also a smart investment, potentially Callaway Golf for sale. Then we'll get into picks for this coming week's Valspar and Fairway or Fore. All right, let's tee it up. What up, brother?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It is a little bit of like, after every quote-unquote major, it feels like a little bit of a hangover, if you will. Like,
well, it wasn't a major.
I said quote unquote. It was the fifth major. It felt like
I know
a major.
I correct you a lot on semantics, but
yeah, you do.
That's not a semantic. That's not a major.
Okay, that is fair, but I'm fucking tired of it. It's semantics. There was the fifth major. Everybody calls it the fifth major, but it felt like a major. Xander Schauffele going down the stretch with Wyndham Clark,
Choking.
Brian Harman. Yeah, Xander Schauffele. The graphic of his second places. Good God, it's as long as a fucking like notes you would take.
What do they
in
call
history
that? A
class.
bridesmaid? You're just a bridesmaid, never a bride.
That's Xander, 100%.
Well, even so, in his press conference afterwards, he said, one of the reporters said, "What are you going to say to all the haters? The haters are going to be out in full force." He's like, "I am also going to be drinking that haterade on himself," which I actually respect. Like, you know what you're comfortable with. You're comfortable finishing second place. You're not a winner unless it's the Olympics, but you know, he's still making a great living. He's still having a great time out there. But at what point do you forget about making money and you start just worrying about winning? Do you think Xander's there yet?
No, I don't think so because he has so many relatively speaking, a ton of wins on the PGA Tour in professional golf. I think it's 6 or 7. So he's got a lot of second places, but is he like the Phil Mickelson of the 2020s?
I would say he's almost like the Lee Westwood, like a dude that is finished in really high positions at a lot of different tournaments and just continues to not get it done. Even though they have won, it feels like they could have 10 to 15 more wins, which Xander definitely could right now. But yeah, it was a great event overall. I mean, there's been some fallout following it, and we'll get into that with Wyndham Clark and a few other dudes, but overall, fun week of golf, and there is a little bit of a letdown now with, I mean, the Valspar has actually got a pretty packed field.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the names I saw on the Bet365 leaderboard or betting board that we looked at to give you guys our picks for this week, but I was surprised at the high level of talent. It's a field that this tournament's normally a not quite your Tony Finau
It's
opposite
not the
field
Mexico Open.
opposite field
It's
event.
not the Puerto Rico Open.
But
Tony
there
Finau's
is
not winning this week.
But there is a good amount
We
of
can
leader.
clip that if
Yeah.
Tony Finau
well, he's
wins.
actually on my card, so that's fine.
Oh, okay, that's good. So he's probably not going to win.
No.
Oh, Greg Gomez, because no more Dell match play, which is bullshit. 100% agree, dude. The match play, they need to figure out a way to make the match play happen at some point again. This is our buddy Greg, who lives in Austin, where they played the match play, the last 5 or 6 years. And that was honestly one of my favorite events of the season. But apparently they couldn't find a sponsor for it, so they just took it off the schedule, which sucks. Like, they need to have a match play event every single year. So hopefully where did they talked about a certain course that they wanted to do match play at. Well, they even brought up TPC Sawgrass for match play because it is such a good up and down course where there are going to be so many swings throughout a match. So that would be fire. There's just so many good golf courses that are built for match play. Like Austin Country Club was not built for it in particular, but it works so well with match play formats. So they need to figure out a sponsor and they need to get that back in the schedule.
Yeah, because it was such perfect timing with both of the men's and women's brackets coming out, everybody filling out brackets for everything. You just toss in another bracket. You know, what is it like 60 seconds of filling out a match play bracket? Plus it was Scotty Scheffler was playing in it. There's a lot of Texas guys on tour, a lot of big name Texas guys.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect fit. I actually loved that golf course too.
Austin Country Club, yeah, it looks legit. Well, and Sam Burns could win there, and you can't win anywhere else.
Well, he is also on my card this week. He has won the Valspar twice. For the record.
No, I know that, but I was actually he's on your card too.
So do you want to talk shit about everyone on my betting card this week?
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have a winner.
Okay, fair. That's pretty accurate up until this point.
You're like, that's about 99% chance of coming true.
Speaking of brackets, have you filled yours out yet? What's your bracket scenario? Because I'll tell you what, I'll go first. I'll ask you a question and I'll answer my own question.
Perfect.
I've actually changed how I do brackets this year. Normally, I'm in like 5 or 6 different friend groups that all do a bracket. So I usually hop into all of those depending upon the platform that they use. The big 4-letter, not DNVR. They have a really good bracket challenge, and it's just clean and looks good.
Well, wait, let me cut you off real quick because the only bracket I filled out is the Bet365 bracket. They have a tournament challenge going on the Bet365 app, and that is the only bracket I've filled out so far. And I already picked Virginia, so I'm 0-1.
Oh, okay. 0-1. Did you pick Wagner or Howard?
I think Wagner.
Okay, you're 1-1 then.
That's such a rate. Wagner and Howard are like interchangeable words. I have my cats sniff the mascots on paper to decide my bracket.
And you probably have won brackets doing that. That's the most insane part of it.
That's sports gambling in general. You just close your eyes and throw a dart. And I remember when you were in college, like, this is true degenerate shit because this was 11 or 12 years ago. And you were texting me, just giving me first letters, just pick an M or a P, and I would just give you a letter and you'd bet on that team.
Yeah, usually that's...
What class were you in? Were you in like economics or something?
Probably. I did a lot of gambling in economics class. One of my low points in my entire life,
if you're going to gamble in any place wouldn't be economics, like, wouldn't that be the perfect place?
Yeah,
because you know the risk of what you're doing.
It's almost reverse economics. Yeah. You're like, I'm fucking myself losing all this money when I'm warning about how to not do that.
But you can't think about the money you're going to lose. You can only consider the money you're going to win. You should ask your professor.
You've been like, which side of this do you like? I'm trying to...
Bro, he was like the most ethical guy ever. He was just like, there's got to be some dirt on him, as I've learned from Suits. There's dirt on everybody. Everybody's got a price.
That is a documentary, as we all know.
Was Greg...
It's a real fact, real life.
Oh, 1,000%. Was Greg in your economics class?
Yeah, he actually was.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, so you guys just gamble and econ together.
Yeah, I cleared out my balance playing blackjack one day.
I remember that. That was a low point for you.
Very low point for me. But
I think you had to borrow money from me.
No, I didn't. I actually did because I thought I broke my ankle.
Yeah, Spencer made me. He didn't make me. I loaned him $2,000 because he was playing pickup basketball in college, sprained his ankle. And of course, him being overly dramatic like usual.
I didn't have health insurance.
Thinks his ankle is broken. Didn't have health insurance. She's like, bro, I need to sign up for health insurance right now. And so he goes and signs up for health insurance. I let him 2 G's. He has a sprained fucking ankle. It's fine in 3 weeks. I also get the panic with like a health thing.
Yeah.
Because I know what that's like.
I could be buried right now. I could be buried in health debt.
Honestly, it would just be Spencer underneath the ground with a bunch of debt and his ankle just floating around.
My ankle working completely fine up in the air.
You're like, your ankle's back, but you're dead.
But so back to the brackets, I will say this year, I've only filled out 2 different brackets. So I'm in a big bracket challenge on Pool Host with like 200 plus people. I fill out 1 bracket there, and I filled out 1 on ESPN, and I'm using it from multiple platforms. So I'm not going to fill out like 10 and hope one's good. I'm going to go all in on these 2 brackets. If they're good, they're good. If they're not, they're not. It's like fantasy football. The more teams you have, the more
you water it down, the less you care.
Exactly.
You're just rooting for everybody.
Yeah, you have to go check 7 different brackets to find out if the 8 seed won or you pick the 8 seed or the 9 seed.
100%. Greg said those 2 Gs went straight to the blackjack tables. I never considered that, but you may have like gone to the online roulette table and just put it all on black and been like, I can double this shit right now, or it can be gone.
I can have 4 Gs.
And how many am I paying back? None. Yeah, all mine.
That's a gambler's mentality right there. You're like, I can double fucking anything in one roll of the dice.
So on your bracket, who do you have winning it all?
I think I took Houston, dude. That Houston Baylor game that we bet on. Oh, dude.
They're the choke job of all choke jobs.
I think they're gonna finish it. You're talking choke jobs. I bet you got Purdue in your final.
I don't
4.
have Purdue in a single Elite 8.
Okay.
They're the biggest chokers on this entire planet.
But then they could pull the Virginia heel turn and go win the national title this year.
True.
Unless they treat Zach Edey like a normal human being instead of some
ogre.
Fucking some giant off from another planet. Greg Gomez. I got Houston too. I just feel like we're talking to Greg now, but I like this chat. Houston is going to make a run. They play lockdown defense. I watched them take a hot steamer on fucking Baylor's chest at home, and I will never feel less strong about a basketball team than the way I felt about Houston after that game.
Yeah, so if
Baylor's also fucking ass, by the way. Like, they're not good.
I actually have Baylor going to a couple of I think one of my Elite 8s. So if you're a gambler, you understand this. Mitch and I obviously are, but we'll occasionally sit down on a Saturday during college basketball season and go, relatively speaking, all in on a team. And
enough to make your heart rate get up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Enough to juice you up a little. And if that team wins, they're all of a sudden the best team in college basketball.
1000%.
And if they lose, they're never to be seen again.
They're blacklisted.
Yeah. They're never to be seen again by any of your bets. I've gotten over my Baylor annoyance. I do have them going fairly far, but Houston.
I think you're incorrect on that.
I'm still stuck on the consistencies of teams choking, like Arizona. I have Arizona going nowhere in any bracket because I'm not going to let them lose to a 15 seed again.
And there's just certain programs that like supersede their current team. Like if you're a really good team, but you're at a historically choking program, you're just more apt to, like, I feel like you're more likely to choke because you kind of have that stigma around you, even though you weren't on that team that was, playing 10 years ago, like Arizona, when they would always choke back when we were like huge college basketball fans, like when we were Duke fans. And I almost feel like UNC has gotten a little bit of that too. Houston is top of Ken Palm. Oh yeah, let's talk a little Ken Palm because Ken Palm is like overtaken the ratings of like college basketball. Like it's almost like strokes gained in golf is what I would compare it to. And I think there was only like 6 or 8 teams. I think it's the Ken Palm. You got to be top 12 offense and top 22 defense, some random shit like that. But it was like Creighton, Houston, UNC, Purdue. Who am I missing? Connecticut. Oh yeah, obviously Connecticut. Anybody that like is Connecticut just right in front of us? Like take it. Like are they just the obvious favorite to repeat?
Yes, but it's so obvious and.
But see, that's where the reverse psychology comes in. It's so obvious that it's not obvious, but then it becomes obvious. I feel like Vince Vaughn right now in Wedding Crashers.
You're actually confusing me.
But that's the gambler's mind that, that's just how it works. You go so far, you're so far committed to one side that you feel like this is a trap and you shouldn't think this. But then your mind's mind is like, okay, so they thought it was a trap. Like there's certain firewalls in your head. And like when it hits that second one, you think it's a trap. Then the third one behind that is like, okay, we recognize that this could be a trap, but we still like it. So we're taking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's reverse psychology.
Got it.
God damn.
No,
why?
I get that.
I
The
don't
one
want to
thing,
mansplain it to you.
the one thing about UConn is no one's repeated since like the early 2000s when Florida with those sick Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer teams.
But Bobby Hurley's a throwback.
He is.
He's a throwback coach. Like, he gets dudes to buy in. He got guys to come back that could have gone to the NBA last year. They didn't. They came back. I feel like they're just going to win another national title. I think it's either them or Houston. Give me a Cinderella team. Are you talking? We're on a podcast.
Well, yes. Here's what you're going to. So this is going back to 2002. The last 22 national champions had the following rankings: top 25 in adjusted efficiency, Ken Palm; top 57 in offensive; top 44 in defensive; top 54 in strength of schedule. So this is the list of teams that will win the national title: Houston, UConn, Purdue, Auburn, who I have a lot, Arizona, Tennessee, UNC, Creighton, Marquette, or Michigan State, ironically,
Wow.
an 8 seed.
Tom Izzo in the mud. Real quick, I think we got to give a shout out to Dalton Connect out in Tennessee. He went to Northeastern Junior College here in Colorado, in Sterling, Colorado. Played 2 years.
If you've ever been to Sterling, oh my God.
It
what
is a cow's town, like cow town. Like, it is the middle of BFE. There's literally nothing to do. I think their college is the size of Elizabeth High School. And he went and balled out, like similar to D. White, but even more of an ascendance, because he played junior college at a nothing school, Northeastern Junior College in Colorado, transferred to University of Northern Colorado, and then transferred to Tennessee, and he is now their star. And he played basketball at somewhere up in North Denver. He went to high school here in North Denver. Let me look this up.
Yeah, it's a school in like maybe Windsor or
No, I think it's like even like Thornton or something. I think
North Denver is just a place that if you're from Colorado, it's you either a north or a south person.
yes. Well,
So those people from Colorado know like I don't even know what's north of Denver.
he went to Prairie View.
Prairie View. Never heard of it.
I haven't either. But also, I just gotta give him another shout out because his name is so sick. It's pronounced Connect, and it's Knecht. Like, it's not. It's just a real cool like way. It's like Justin Smoke with an A instead of a Smoke. It's Smoak.
Is that like Noah?
Yes, exactly. But that's actually pronounced. Yeah, there we go. Yes. Thank you, Yaya. That is my brain when I'm gambling on sports. It is just all over the place. And then you mix in the alcohol, and I am just fucking in for it. And that is why I end up not gambling a lot of the times, because I'm so indecisive. I just can't pick a team that I can poke holes in every single one of my own theories. And I feel like that means I'm self-aware. Maybe I'm not. What do you think?
No, that's knowing the opposite of what you're deciding is extremely self-aware.
But then that's why I end up not gambling, because I'm like, I could easily in any world I could see this team I bet on losing by double digits.
Oh, absolutely. And the second I place a bet, I give that team like a 1% chance to win the game.
1,000%.
Every time.
And that's where the reverse psychology comes in. I want to buy into a team so hard and then somehow not bet it, and then bet the other side, like either live or like right when the game. I like betting games live when a team goes down by like 10 and the team that's leading is shooting like 70% from the field and the losing team is shooting like 30%. I feel pretty good about that, and I feel like the odds don't necessarily catch up with it. But that's my favorite time to live bet somebody, because everything kind of comes out to a mean, you know what I mean, an average. But should we move off of, are we done with college basketball talk? You got anything else?
Yeah, no, let's move on to the Masters menu released by Jon Rahm. I do want to get to something before this, though, because on the Masters menu, this came out this week. It's a yearly thing. The menu comes out. We talk about it. We pick our own menu, which we might do coming up here on Masters Preview Week. But this whole notion that it's like insane that Jon Rahm has to pay for the dinner, that's a new thing this year. not that he has to pay for it, but that's surface to the media.
Yeah.
Of
Well,
like,
my golf spy just throws some clickbaity shit out there to like get response and to get interaction.
they're engagement farming.
They are engagement farmers. And so they tweeted that they're like paying the champion's dinner being paid for by the champion is like getting a hole in one and then paying for the entire round when you go into the bar. Did you know that was a thing, Yaya?
I've seen a lot of TV shows that I know that's a
Okay,
thing.
okay, cool. Where you get a hole in one, then you go pay for the bar tab. But that would be like if you got paid $100,000 for your hole in one and then went and spent $500 on a bar tab. Like you don't gain anything from a hole in one other than there's no monetary physical gain. You get to talk about your hole in one for the rest of your life. But being a Masters champion, getting an invite back to Augusta every year, along with pocketing probably $3.5, $4 million, I would gladly throw 20, 30, 40 grand at that Masters dinner.
100%.
He probably flew dudes in from Spain. I would want I wonder how they do that. Like if they
I think the chefs at Augusta National are like world renowned.
Oh no,
like,
I know that, but I'm wondering like if you can bring in your own specific like because he's got like fucking Mima's chili on there or something like. He does. We'll look at it. It was like something, and it just didn't sit right with me. But
to me, even relating it to the fact of paying for drinks after a hole in one, if you make a hole in one, that's a memory that you will talk about for the rest of your life. I equate it to like spending a lot of money on tickets. We did that 2 years ago with Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, didn't work out in our favor. We didn't get to watch them raise the cup and skate around Ball Arena with it. But had we done that, every time somebody talks about the Stanley Cup, you can say, I've been there for a Stanley Cup raising. And so it's just like paying for tickets, and I have no problem. Like, people that sit and have a problem with having to pay for a bar tab or skip out on their bar tab after they get a hole in one are fucking lame.
No, I would agree with that. I personally, when I made my hole in ones, I was more than willing to stick around. Like, it's almost a pride thing. What did you do for your hole in ones?
Wow.
Oh yeah, Spencer doesn't have any hole in ones.
I thought he pulled a cig and just celebrated afterwards.
No, we got to clip that because I did that on purpose. That was just a good time for me. But I was just curious. Spencer's, whenever you make a hole in one, because I bet it will come one day if you play enough golf, you need to drop like thousands because you've been saving this whole time for the opportunity and it just hasn't come yet.
Yeah, I might skip out on it.
I thought about that the other day because your wife has an albatross and I have 3 hole in ones and you're just sitting there like Squidward. It's me and Kylie in the window, SpongeBob and Patrick running outside, and you're Squidward up in that window looking down.
Just fucking playing with my food, apparently, every time I play golf.
I don't think that's the only thing you're playing with.
No, definitely not. I do kind of have like a little try to like speak it into existence every time I go play golf. I'm like, what's today's the day? And then every shot I hit on a par 3, I look up and kind of have a hope, like a glimmer in my eye, and see it's 40 yards right.
But see, just like gambling, you need to go back to like, don't go in. Say, don't go in. I'm not making a hole in one. Speak it out. Reverse psychology. Your hole in one.
I can get behind that.
Greg Gomez, I had a $1,200 tab on my hole in one. Hell yeah. See, that's how you do it right. And there's actually courses that offer hole-in-one insurance, but let's get back to the Masters menu here because I want to get Yaya's opinion on all this.
All right, cool. Let's pull up the Masters menu here served by Jon Rahm Rodriguez. All right, so first of all, let's get through the pronunciations.
I was going to say, just
this
read
is where we need you to tap in.
Read every word. The things that we can't read. I actually had a dude on TikTok. I posted that green screen yesterday, and the first comment was, I tried to read it, but it was so confusing I stopped. It's almost like it was in a different language. Like the dude did not realize it was actually a different language. So that was hilarious. I was like, I commented back, I was like, you realize it is a different language. He's like, holy shit, it is. I'm like, wow, the general population does not have a fucking brain. All right, send it on these. Let's start from the top. Let's hear it.
Yeah, tapas y pinstos.
Tapas y pinstos. See, these are. I want to clarify. I'm Mexican. These are Spain, so I don't know.
See, that's why I was asking. I'm curious. So it's called the Is it Pasquay?
So real quick, tapas. Do you know what you guys know what tapas are, right?
Yeah, like
Appetizers,
Okay.
small plates.
basically. The craziest one to me that I can read off immediately is tortillas de patatas.
Patatas, I like that.
I love patatas.
We have
Extra
put
big
two
patatas.
of those patatas in my face right now.
next one is croqueta de pollo.
Croqueta. That I didn't even realize that was that word, but that's like a croquette, like a little
So
pastry type thing.
So kind of, yes. Croquetas, we usually use it for dog food in our language. So when I read that, like,
Jon Rahm serving fucking dog food at his
you know,
master's
like
dinner.
the dry food, that's croquetas.
Okay.
Then we have lentejas estofadas.
That's Mama Rahm's lentil stew.
Then we have idiazabal con trufa negra. I think that's black truffles. I don't know what the first
Where
one.
are you seeing that?
Idiazabal is the first one right underneath tapas y pinkstos.
Oh, okay. Holy shit. That was the one that I looked at and I was like, no chance I get any of this correct. Say that one more time.
Idiazabal con trufa negra.
Okay.
And then to the left is Ibericos. I don't know what that is, if I'm honest with you.
It's acorn-fed Iberian ham with cured pork loin.
That's a weird one.
And real quick, so like, do you know exactly word for word translations of like that top one that you read under tapas? What does that translate to literally? Do you know?
I have no idea. I've never
Okay.
seen that word in my life. I just
Okay.
know how to read Spanish.
Yeah.
So like it helps me out so much.
No, that's what I was genuinely curious about.
No,
like,
the one below though he had.
no, but I'm talking about the literal meaning of the word. He could pronunciate it, but like the literal word meaning translated to English.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, because they do like a loose translation, like a description, but it's not like a word for word thing.
So you know Idiazabal is actually a city in Spain. They have a really famous cheese called Idiazabal cheese. So that's where it comes from.
No, that's a fire fact. I did not know that. I like that.
Then at the to kind of top off the top line, it's a chistorra con patata. I don't know what that is. Basically, it's a spicy Basque chorizo. Never heard of that.
Well, so apparently Basque is a Spanish original like cooking style. Does that check out? Do you know anything about that?
So we were talking before the show, and I did say I know some of these dishes that are originated because since Mexico did get conquered by the Spanish people, a lot of things translated over.
Yes.
I've never heard of Basque
Okay.
and how you cook it or a traditional style, but it's also depending what got passed down. What I know, they're similar but very different at the same time.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. What about these main courses here?
All right, so the first course is ensalada de tangscurro.
Okay.
I have no idea what tangscurro is.
Maybe crab salad. Well, I know that's what it literally is, but
Yeah.
who knows what the fuck. And
Now-
just the lack of vowels, really, like TXAN. Is an X silent there? Or does it kind of roll T into X into A?
It kind of rolls in.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of just goes in. It's like, depending where you hear it from, I'm not sure Spain, but in Spanish, it kind of turns into a G. Like the name Jimena, it's Jimena and it's spelled with an X.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit weird.
Okay.
Then right underneath that, we have chuletón a la parrilla, which is basically just asada, carne asada like on a grill.
Okay.
That's chuletón. It's a chuleta, which is a piece of meat that gets cooked. A la parrilla, it just means that it's on a grill. So it's basically it. Just the carne asada. That's what they're doing right there.
Okay. See, that's why we
Fuck,
need
I
the
love-
mansplaining because that shit looks so confusing and it just means steak on a grill.
I love carne asada.
Yeah.
That's one of my
Carne asada.
asada. That's my favorite dish at my local Mexican place. Oh, actually, this is a
Chipotle?
question. No. Qdoba, actually.
A little more.
No, the place that we go that's close to us is called La Fogata. What does that mean, translated?
The fire pit. La fogata. Fogata means fire pit, so it's the fire pit.
I
Fuck
like
yeah,
that
I'm going to
more
start
now.
calling it the fire pit.
Yeah.
That sounds gas.
Welcome to the fire pit.
So, like, when if you ever go camping with a lot of people that speak Spanish, they're like, hey, vamos a una fogata. Let's make a fireplace, like a little fire pit. You're at the fire pit.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
what you do.
That's dope. Okay, so what is the second one? Because I don't even know. Is turbo? I think it's pronounced turbo. It's a fish.
Rodabala.
So, that one's pronounced rodaballo because the double L turns into a Y.
Fucking mean my L's.
Rodaballo al pilpil.
To me, that looks like rolled a ball over here.
No, it does.
That's what it fucking translates to
And
me.
that's why language is so like weird, right? Because it's rodaballo.
Yeah.
That double L turns into a Y, so it's rodaballo al pilpil.
Okay.
Don't have no idea what any of that is, but that's how you say it.
I think turbo's a fish, and just by deductive reasoning, they usually offer a steak option and like a seafood or a not. Some have had vegetarian if you got some softies at the Masters dinner, but I'm just by deductive reasoning thinking that that's fish.
So it is actually a fish. It's found in the Baltic Sea and the Mediterranean Sea.
Let's fucking
Very
go.
famous in that area.
Hell yeah, I know my shit. Man of many talents. Geography.
You
dude.
definitely know your way around a plate of food. That's for sure.
That was well done. I will give you credit there. I've never eaten turbo before, and I don't even know if you pronounce the T on the end or you don't, but I knew it was fish, so you're welcome.
So a rodaballo is basically just that fish. And it's just basically on a plate with a bunch of veggies on the side. How it's cooked is a little bit different.
It's
has
on a plate?
garlic.
That's
Yeah.
wild. They put it on a plate?
A lot of people don't, dude. I don't eat my carne asada on a plate.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Just
all
slap it
tortilla.
on the table.
Oh.
Slap it on a tortilla and just start munching at it, dude. There's no reason
Okay.
for a plate on those things.
I
But-
sounded like such a dipshit when I was trying to give him shit and be like, you put it on a plate? And he's like, most of the time we don't. I'm like, I'm the fucking idiot here.
Actually, fucking here you go.
It depends how it's cooked, right? But it has like asparagus on it. It could be a soup kind of.
Okay.
Like, so it could be on a deep, but it has a lot of veggies around it. Like the veggies are kind of like the second main plate on that.
Okay. I'm just dreaming about replacing plates with tortillas for everything that I eat. That sounds like my ideal life.
I mean nachos. It's basically just not a deep fried nacho. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, fuck, dude. That sounds so good. All right. Let's round it out with the dessert here.
The best part.
So it's mil hojas de crema y nata. 1,000 leaves of cream and nata. And custard, I guess. It's what nata means. It's a word that I don't know. But it's called 1,000 leaves of cream and nata.
Okay.
So you telling us you don't know nata?
You know nata about nata?
I know nata about nata.
Oh, fuck.
Fucking, this was
This has been a great clip. I really enjoyed this. Let's give our just general thought because let's just go through and pick like real quickly because I feel like we got to move on. But pick a tapas, a main course, and I guess that's your only choices.
Also, real quick, it's basically a pastry that has layered of bread, kind of like what's it called, like the
Baklava?
biscuit, kind of like biscuit, like the sweet biscuit.
Okay.
Has cream, layer of biscuit, and then the cream again, and then biscuit. It's like a 3-layer thing.
Almost like a stuffed croissant.
Kind of. That's kind of what it looks like.
Okay, sounds interesting.
All right, I'll go with the. Ooh, what? Okay, so I know we kind of talked about this already, but if I'm picking one, what's the difference? Like, is there a difference between an American omelet and a Spanish omelet? Because like, if it's just onions, potatoes, and eggs, I'm in.
He's
on
serving
that.
an omelet as a dinner appetizer.
Tortilla de patatas.
Okay.
That's the one that
Spanish
I couldn't
omelet.
get past the name.
Okay,
but
confit potatoes.
looking at it,
Got you.
I'm all the way in on that. And then
real quick, the difference is that this one comes with potatoes. So the egg is mixed with the potato that has onion.
Ooh,
on it.
that sounds
okay.
gas.
And I will. So I'm an expert omelet guy. I think
you think so?
No, I am. I think omelets are so much better when you put the shit in the eggs. Like when people like cook the eggs both ways and then put the shit in and then flip it in half. That's not a good omelet. A good omelet is throw the eggs in there flat.
But
throw
see, what you're talking about is not an omelet. It's a scramble at that point.
No, because you still usually if you put cheese in it, like
And then fold it?
yeah, then you put the cheese in, then you fold it. But
See,
like
but
the
I don't
bacon, the
think that's
onions,
a
all
real
that's
omelet.
in the egg.
So what's the omelet? Does splitting it in half make it the omelet or just
Correct, 100%, yeah.
So okay, that's what I wanted to know. That's where you qualify
See,
an omelet.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not really... An omelet, traditionally, is you take the egg, you cook it, you put the shit in the middle. It's like a little pigs in a blanket scenario. Like, you're fucking wrapping up all the stuff in the middle, folding it over, melting the cheese inside. So it's like a calzone. It's like an egg calzone.
100%.
That would be like if you put the fucking pepperonis and shit in the dough and then cook the calzone.
maybe we just fucking created a new idea because that sounds way better than it sliding in and out around the fucking when you bite it and you have like shit slide out the side.
That's actually not the worst idea we've ever come up with.
No, because to me, yes, scramble omelet are very similar, but an omelet's like a put together piece of food. A scramble is like if somebody served me a scramble that was basically an omelet but not flipped in half, I'd be like, take this back. I wouldn't do that because I don't say that, but you get my point.
Yeah. Okay. Pick a fucking main course. We need to move on.
Oh, definitely the
Say it.
carne asada.
Carne asada.
Carne asada, chutelon a la parrilla.
Yeah, there you go.
Chuletelon. Chuleton a la parrilla. Look at me
Well
go.
done. Okay, for my appy, I'm going with Mama Rahm's lentil stew. No, fuck that. That you know he just did that to make his mom happy. She's like, I need to make a dish. He's like, yes, Mom, you can make a dish. I can't do chorizo because of the fucking heartburn. I'm going to go the croqueta de pollo. And that is consequently, unintentionally, the only one I can even sniff pronouncing. So yeah, I want the dog food for the appetizer. Bring me the puppy chow. And then I'm gonna have the turbo. I've been on a fish kick lately. I'm gonna go for the rodaballo apipi. Is that pretty decent? Al pipi. Is that
a little bit more L, so it doesn't sound like you're munching on P?
that's but I
Pill.
Al pipil. I'm not gonna be able to do it very well. All right, give us your app and your main course. Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna take lentejas estofadas, which is lentils on the stove.
Okay.
That just reminds me of home when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, see, you were shitting on Yaya's fucking home lentil
No,
stew.
I'm not. I'm just saying for myself personally, like I've never had it before.
I'll take a lentil soup any day of the week, man.
Okay.
From there, I have to go with the chuletón because I'm not an asparagus guy, man. I don't want my piss smelling like
love it.
asparagus. I really don't. Like,
I wish I could do anything as fast as asparagus makes my piss smell. Because, like, I swear to God, I could eat one piece of asparagus, take a bathroom break mid-dinner, go there. It's immediate. I don't understand the science behind that, but it's fucking
I wish
incredible.
alcohol got into my system that quickly.
Yeah. Can we create alcohol? Like, I guess maybe if you fucking put a syringe of
Just
alcohol.
mainline that
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, we could give it a shot.
my whole thing, man, is I don't like asparagus. I don't live alone. Like, I don't want to go to the bathroom. Like, it already smells bad when I go the other way. Like, I don't need to make it smell
The
good
time that
every
you
time I
pee,
go.
yeah, I was gonna say when you're peeing, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna stink up the joint this time. So then, yeah, no, I totally get that. Overall, love his menu. Love how it really like feels connected to him, and it's not just boilerplate.
That's the best part
Bullshit.
about these.
It's authentic as fuck.
Yeah, Sergio Garcia is going to have a fucking heyday here.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to love this. All right, before we get to Wyndham Clark and his antics on the golf course, once again making him
Less likable.
villain number one. He's villain number one on the PGA Tour right now. They posted that video of him which was awesome of him to do. He was talking to this girl who has leukemia, and so he's definitely not
The
villain
PGA
number
Tour
one.
is trying to prop him up,
But
you can
they
tell.
are definitely helping him out with that. I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Bet365. At the end of this pod, we'll get to our picks for this coming Valspar, which we do each week. Call it Big Bet Energy. But we do all of our golf betting through the Bet365 app. You can hop on there right now and do your bracket challenge. Mitch has done it. I need to do it. It's a free shot at like 10 grand, I'm pretty sure. But if you use the code ALLCITY in all caps when you sign up, for Bet365, you get to choose between two different offers. First bet safety net of $1,000 or betting $5 and getting $150 in bonus bets when you sign up with that code ALLCITY. They also have early payout offers, which I tried to do the other night and I screwed it up, so I'm going to have to go back in. But the Nuggets were playing the San Antonio Spurs last Saturday, so I put in a big parlay, but I forgot I'm not a guy that adds Nuggets to my parlays just because that's one of my rules. I don't bet on my teams.
Okay.
Because it makes me feel like shit if they lose. But if they get up by 20, it's marked as a win automatically. And the Nuggets were ahead by 20 in the second quarter.
That's
So
fire.
you can do all that with the Bet365 app using that code ALLCITY in all caps when you sign up. We do the each way golf bets. We actually did get paid this week. I had 2 guys in the top 12. Both shout out to Ludwig Aubert and Xander Schauffele. Could have brought me home with a bunch more units, but they both finished firmly in the top 10, so I got paid out on that. The each way bets splits your bet in half and doubles your wager. So you're betting $1 or 1 unit. It'll basically be a 2-unit bet, but you're getting a pick on them to win and a pick on them to place, and you can choose 1 through 5, 1 through 8, 1 through 12. So make sure you're checking out Bet365 and using that app to bet golf. It is by far the best app betting golf that we've ever used. Also want to tell you guys about our friends over at Coors Light. When you need a minute to chill, take in a Coors Light. Mitchell, when you're betting on all these March Madness games, we're going to need you to have a lot of Coors Light. I'm going to be drinking Coors Light tomorrow at the bar here in Denver. I'm going to have the iPad in front of me, all the TVs on. I think I'm going to actually be on a live stream, so definitely more of the reason to drink some Coors Light. There's nothing better than when the mountains are blue. You pull that Coors Light out of the fridge and you pop it up, boom, ready to go. I do love an old school bottle still, even though we had an argument about how to hold a bottle. On the golf course, though, Twist Top Coors Light is by far the best. We've been drinking Coors Light since we were 21 years old, only when we're 21 years old. And it's a perfect drink for the golf course. It goes down easy. You can have, if you have to drink 1 a hole, you can. There's some challenges out there where people try to do that. It doesn't make you feel overly like bloated. I'm not a huge beer guy, but Coors Light never makes me feel like that. You want 3 or 4, you can have that nice little buzz. It's perfect. So make sure to check out Coors Light when you need a moment to chill. You can get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Speaking of a kid that's near Golden, Colorado, Wyndham Clark, this guy, man, this guy is not doing himself any favors on the PGA Tour by the way he acts. So we've got a couple of clips up here for you guys. If you're listening to this pod, great, on the audio version, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. We appreciate you. If you want to watch this podcast, see our beautiful faces, our sick gear, head on over to YouTube, youtube.com, Big Drive Energy Golf. Mitch, I'll let you talk about what Wyndham Clark looks like he's doing here. And I've been seeing tweets that he's won the next Patrick Reed, they've said. Number 2, somebody was like, this has got to be the 4th or 5th time this year that he's done something that's questionable. We're not saying it's against the rules or not, or maybe you're going to do that, but he does the questionable shit. He does the I should drop up here Rory McIlroy move a lot more, and it gets caught on camera, and here's one right here.
Well, so this is not necessarily, it is illegal, but you can't really tie down his intention on this. That is where the gray area comes in. So he was just gaming it however he can. He's stomping in his area that he's about to drop, and there's no reason for him to take that last step over to the right, and I'm sure he did that multiple times. As you can see on our YouTube, he is clearly trampled down the area he's dropping. But once again, it's not necessarily, you could call it cheating, but that's if he said, I'm going to walk over and trample down the spot I'm dropping. Other than that, you have no legitimate, cause to say that he's actually cheating. It could just be a quote unquote coincidence. So he's just trying to bend the rules a little bit. I wouldn't say that he's cheating, but once you do this a handful of times in a matter of weeks on camera, people are going to start leaning towards you're cheating and you're trying to give yourself an advantage.
I think in this specific instance, it's the left foot step right there, the quick left foot step next to his right foot.
Yeah, he easily could have just split his feet and then brought his right foot back.
Yeah,
but he's like, let me fucking hopscotch all the way over to the spot I'm dropping, and then just pitter patter my way all the way back over to where I'm actually going to be hitting from. So yeah, it definitely is a little bit questionable on his part. And like you said, he was all over social media supporting this young lady that has leukemia, and she's like his biggest fan. And that is super cool, but you can tell that the PGA Tour is trying to deflect some of the shade that is being thrown in his direction. Because like on our TikTok, shout out our TikTok, post on it all the time, go follow us. Big Drive Energy.
That's before we get it taken.
Well,
Before TikTok is no longer allowed.
don't say that.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not gonna
Hopefully,
happen.
fingers crossed, the government's not that stupid, but not much faith there. But everybody on our TikTok, all they've commented is how much of a douchebag they think Wyndham Clark is. For the record, I just want to come out and say we like Wyndham Clark. We don't think he's a douchebag. We think he does some questionable shit, and you're welcome to your opinion. But if Wyndham Clark ever wants to come on this program at one point or another, we are fans of his since we played high school golf with him. I just wanted to get out in front of that because everybody on our TikTok is saying that he's a douchebag. That's not us. We're not buying into that. We're not commenting back and saying this is true. We're just seeing what the people are saying and taking that and doing with that what we will. It's up for a discussion at this point.
It's just like it's the old scenario, like one time's a coincidence, multiple times you start getting that P read. And then the thing that hurts him is some of the stuff that he says. And this is a different instance, but we have this other clip here of this is a TikTok posted by a green screen TikTok posted by someone else, but goes into a little bit about Wyndham and his caddy and what his caddy quote unquote did or didn't do, I guess, when he rinsed one on 17, which by the way, if you guys didn't see, he rinsed one on 17, looked like he was all but out of it, and then makes an incredible bogey.
Yes. No, I mean, he made a great bogey. But he basically said that his caddy misclubbed him, and no worries. And he said that that was the reason he hit it in the water, when in reality, he just laid the sod over it. Like, if you're an everyday normal golfer and you haven't seen that shot before, you're fucking lying. Because everybody's chili dipped a wedge. It was just a classic chili dipper. And I wouldn't say, like, Jordan Spieth's probably more likable than Wyndham Clark, but Jordan Spieth loves to blame his caddy for shit. So Wyndham did the classic, he misclubbed me. It's like, oh, do you want to admit that you made bad contact, or are you just going to say that your caddy misclubbed you? Because that's part of the story. Could be part of the story, but it's not the whole story. And then he also had him go for it on, let's see if we can we don't even need the audio on this. Maybe if you can fast forward it to the quote, because I couldn't find it on Twitter.
I got 30 seconds in.
Oh, yeah, I told him to start a little later.
No audio?
Yeah, no audio. We don't even need audio. But more of just because I couldn't find the quote. I don't know where the quote was. It was from his press conference. But yeah, while we're waiting for that, then he said he misclubbed him again, which is mentioned here in this TikTok on, I want to say is the 12th hole. It's a drivable par 4. Wyndham said he wanted to lay up. Wyndham never wants to lay up. Okay, so here's this quote. If you could pause it for just a second. Yeah.
This is for the record, this first quote is the one about 17.
Yes.
And then he goes to 12.
Correct. So I was just kind of going back and forth, but I'm not throwing John under the bus by any means, but it was probably a perfect sand wedge. AKA, I'm not throwing him under the bus, but he gave me the wrong club. He thought if I nuked it, it could get on top. Kind of as we were walking to put the ball down, he's like, let's take a little off a full sand wedge. Not 30 yards, Wyndham. That's where you got a little discrepancy in there. As I was over the ball, I kind of got on top and was like, take a little off, and then I just decelled and chunked it. So he did admit that he chunked it. Respect. But you can't blame your caddy on telling you it's not a full sand wedge to take some off. And that's a you thing. But at the same time, I guess players always love to talk like we instead of I. So, you give your caddy credit, you got to give him a little blame. Fair enough. So then on 12, I'm still thinking I like laying up there. In what world, Wyndham's one of the longest hitters on tour. He could get 3-wood to the green. Probably maybe even less than 3-wood. He could get in front of the green. He would probably have to hit like 8-iron to lay up to like a 100-yard wedge distance. So what the fuck is the point? Like, I think he's full of shit there. If he makes a good swing, he's like, my caddy made a great call and gave me the right club and I hit it well. But, I guess live by the sword, die by the sword. Once again, it's a pretty demanding shot. If you miss it right, it's really hard. So you kind of have to take the shot on. I tried and just hit it left. So, yeah, I mean, you hit a good shot, caddy gets the credit. See, but that's where it's like, would he give the caddy the credit if he hit a good shot?
Definitely not. But didn't you read a book once, like an Arnold Palmer or Jack Nicklaus book?
Yeah, I don't read books more than once.
But it
Very
talked
rarely
about,
even read books.
like, I'm not saying this doesn't look shitty for him to call out his caddy, but
how Jack never made a bad swing in his life.
Exactly.
Oh, 100%. He's covering his own confidence. He's protecting himself by not putting the blame directly on himself, because then mentally you go into a place of, I'm making bad swings, and you can't have that kind of mental thought process through a round. So I can see it in the middle of a round. Like, you can blame your caddy in private. It's almost like relationships. You don't want to air your shit out in public about your problem with somebody else. If he told him he misclubbed at the time, put it on his caddy then, so he can maintain that confidence throughout his round. But after the round, go out and own it yourself. Don't put your caddy, that's my problem with it in general, is if you're going to throw your caddy under the bus, do it to him personally, call him out personally, other guys in the group are going to hear it, whatever. But don't go to your press conference and tell everybody that he was the one that got it wrong. That's just all I got to say about it.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of him protecting his confidence for going into Sunday, because that was post Saturday's round.
Okay.
Which, like I said, doesn't look great on the surface, but is not something you just call your caddy out for, because that's the dude that caddies basically just get shit on.
He was an assistant coach at Oregon and left Oregon to come caddy for him.
Pretty good business decision for him.
Well, yeah, his stock has gone up significantly these last 2 years.
You still don't get to treat someone like shit.
Yeah, for a certain dollar amount, I think people will get treated like shit. They will welcome it.
Yeah, that's true. I guess maybe making, like, I wonder if his caddy's sitting there like, you just needed to fucking hit the sand wedge and hit it good and not chunk it. That wasn't even close to sniffing the 17th green. All right, let's move on to, real quick, this was an interesting story from the week of golf. So this is from a Golf Digest article. In Los Angeles, black market tee time brokers are buying up a bunch of tee times at affordable local munis and reselling them for profit. So it says, for years, local golfers have suspected something shady going on behind the scenes, but now LA teaching pro Dave Fink is pushing back, mobilizing his 203,000 Instagram followers in a movement he calls #FreeTheTee. So basically,
that's actually genius.
So they went around this golf course and tried to find somebody on a Saturday morning how he got this tee time. And here's the quote from the guy. There's this guy, and the only way you can get in touch with him is through this Korean messaging app called Kakao. So this guy is buying up all these tee times and then reselling them for profit and booking fees. And
this dude's like the golf mafia,
which is insane. To me, as being on the other side of it, like a golf course operator, like we used to be, if all the tee times are paid and booked and half the people show up, I see no issue. Now, at the same time, whether you like it or not, those people are going to have a view of you in that golf course, because you can't control. I mean, no one can.
You're not protecting the integrity of your customers in your business. You're basically selling out, like, in my opinion. And I compared it when I first read this. I compared it to like reselling sports tickets, reselling all of this. Like the stadium, at the end of the day, the stadium is going to sell the tickets, but the person purchasing them is incurring most of the risk while also incurring some of the potential upside. But to make it this sketchy and this inaccessible, it sounds like some LA shit. Like LA is just sketchy in general. I don't like LA. And it makes sense that this dude's probably sitting at the club with bottle service, and they're like, "Where'd you make your money?" He's like, "I hawk all the local tee times and fucking resell them." Like,
yeah, he's probably like spent years developing this program that just goes in and pays for all these tee times. I mean, dude, on the non-shady part of it, kind of smart.
Yeah, think about like if they made an Uber app where you found like almost like connected people with tee times. Like
there's kind of an app like that.
Is there
Golf
like,
Snake.
Oh, okay. Well, you give them like an area.
Yep.
And they pop up with all the tee times in
Golf
that
Snake
area.
does do that. It's a small app, but I've talked to the guy, and you can use it in Colorado and Minneapolis.
That's pretty fire.
But when
That's
you
genius.
type in the day and the general time you want to play, and it opens up all the tee times on different courses.
Shout
It goes
out
through
Golf
and
Snake.
searches for them.
No
but
free
then you have
ads.
to go into the actual website
Yeah.
to book it. But yeah, this is crazy. This is a crazy story. I'm sure some stuff is. It says it's ongoing here, but golf has become so popular that tee times are now a black market level product. It's like drugs.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You can go on the dark web and get a tee time.
Yeah, like
I'm kind of jealous of that guy, dude. Just, I mean,
Because you didn't think of it first?
You're not doing shit. All you're doing is buying up tee times and selling them again. Like that's the ultimate profit. Like,
Should we try that?
I don't think you guys should try it.
Should we
But
just
it is
call?
like very-
Should we call a local golf course and just take all their Saturday morning tee times and sell them for a profit? That's essentially what a golf tournament is. I mean, you're adding other things besides that, but you're essentially selling a tee time
yeah.
for a profit in most cases, unless it's not a profit. Which
That's
is
how profit works.
that's how, yeah. You're not.
Then-
There's no guarantees.
Then you're just a 501c3.
Yeah, well, yeah. Then you're just a PGA Tour. That was good. But yeah, that's fucked up. That's a pretty wild story out of California. But leave it to the Californians, man. You find anything to live in LA. Dude's probably paying $8,000 a month to rent a 2-bedroom shithole in Hollywood.
No doubt. All right. Last story of the day we'll get to is the potential sale of Callaway. So My Golf Spy, the engagement farmers, came out with some breaking news, and they said, is Callaway Golf up for sale? A South Korean newspaper, The Chosen Daily, is reported that Topgolf Callaway may be up for sale. The paper reports that Callaway's 3 largest shareholders are looking to sell their stakes. Is this a company you would invest in? It looks like Topgolf. The plan is to sell off Topgolf's first and then move on to sell Callaway Golf and Apparel for approximately $3 billion. An unnamed South Korean investment firm is rumored to be a leading contender to land the entire Callaway business. Callaway finished 2023 with sales hitting nearly $4.3 billion. We finished the year with the number 1 U.S. market share of total clubs, drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, and irons. That is from CEO Chip Brewer. I will say, just from a I watch golf every weekend standpoint, the AI Smoke and the Callaway product is probably it's a
looks
good
the
product,
best.
but it's also one of the most prominent on tour. Xander, Sam Burns, like the Callaway, like there's all these different brands now that have made their way to the PGA Tour, clubs and clothing. But I think Callaway's the one that's the most consistent, that you see the head covers and you recognize it and you see that, granted it can go week to week with who's leading and who's getting the most TV time, but
Yeah.
I would say Callaway is the number 1 brand in terms of recognition on watch. If you were just put somebody down, watch a PGA Tour event and say, what brand did you recognize? I bet it's at the top.
Yeah, see, I would say Callaway and TaylorMade are definitely the 2 biggest that you see a lot of that want to be seen. But I feel like Callaway goes about it a little bit differently, which I appreciate because TaylorMade is just so in your face with all the ads, all of this, all of that, all the gimmicky shit that they make their players wear. I like Callaway's somewhat low key about it, but they're also just the big swinging, the big swinging dick. I can say that on
the big swing and drive.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. The big drive energy on the PGA Tour and in the golf world in general. And I will say too that they make just a really good product, tee to green, like driver, fairway woods, irons into wedges into the putter. I won't play anything but an Odyssey putter. I was on Callaway staff for a period of time and love their product. So yeah, for like a mainstream multi-billion-dollar brand, I honestly think Callaway probably puts out the top shit.
Yeah, it's a product that is super recognizable and it's old. Like it's been around a long time. Like
Time.
One of the oldest woods I've ever seen is when they turned to Fairway metals was like those Callaway Big Bertha steelheads.
I feel like one of the oldest woods you've ever seen was in like a Lifetime locker room, but
I hope it wasn't a wood. I hope it was a fucking. It was probably a senior shaft.
I'm
at
sorry, that
point.
just popped into my head.
Also,
I had to say it.
Callaway to me is what Nike is to basketball, what Adidas is to soccer. Like when I think when I think apparel, when it comes to golf, it's Callaway, right?
Okay.
Because that's how big of a name it is. I'm not a golfer,
Yeah.
but I know if I see that brand, I'm like, that person wearing it's probably a golfer. If I see that, it's like, oh, that's a golf thing.
Very true.
Tailor made, I don't know that, like, because I'm not into that golf world.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like Callaway. It's what Nike is to some of these different like sports.
I like that outside perspective because there is certain, like you said, Nike to basketball, Adidas to soccer. There's certain like Ferrari to like, you know, supercar. Yeah, F1. Like there's certain names that you associate, and Callaway just differentiates itself enough to where you know it's golf specific. Like TaylorMade, that's just a play on something being tailor-made for you. Like you could have a tailor-made set of basketball shoes. You could have, you know, like Callaway, it's just like Spencer said, it's a time-tested, they've been around forever, and they've consistently put out a good product. Like the Callaway woods back in the 90s and early 2000s were absolutely fire. The Heavenwood was played all over tour for years. That was like the OG, like, you know how you say you wait long enough and a trend will come back in? Do you remember dudes playing like 7 and 9 woods back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that shit was
slowly coming back.
Yeah, 100%. Now dudes are doing it again. But Callaway was the OG, like 7 wood, 9 wood. Before hybrids existed, they were creating a higher lofted wood that you could keep in the bag that was more versatile out of the rough. Because they even made like the kind of cupped face on that Heavenwood, so it could get down into the rough as opposed to the, you know, the flatter bottom, the flatter. Goddamn, the word is fleeting me currently, but they definitely were a pioneer in their industry, and I would invest in Callaway. I mean, I think their stock. I'm pretty into stocks, relatively speaking. Their stock was up 10% today on the news of their potential sale. And I will say there's different metrics you can look at in stocks, but there's one called the EPS, which means earnings per share. And a lot of stocks on the stock market are actual negative earnings per share because they're trading above their value, quote unquote. But Callaway is earning 50 cents per share that's out in the universe, basically, which means I think they did 3.6 or 7 billion in revenue last year.
4.3, I just said.
Oh,
that.
did you say 4.3? Fuck off.
You always say I don't listen to you.
Well,
Fucking
yeah.
Who's listening now?
Yeah, whatever. But that's with Topgolf too. That's not just Callaway. And they're actually separate. Apparently, they can be sold as separate entities because Callaway took over and bought out Topgolf to kind of add it to the portfolio. But I think eventually they will be sold somewhat separately.
Yeah, that's what they said. They're trying once again something I said.
I heard you.
They're
say
trying
that.
to sell Topgolfs first and then sell Callaway.
See, I read the opposite. I heard that Callaway was going to get sold first and then Topgolf. So just, you know, depends on your source.
Well, do you eat a whole piece of pizza or do you eat a whole pizza first, or do you eat it piece by piece? Can you eat a whole entire pizza without eating each piece at a time?
Well, so
Topgolf is smaller than Callaway. Callaway is above Topgolf.
that's like getting like 3 pieces of your pizza a completely different topping than your other pieces. Like you can do both things at one time, but you can eat the bigger pieces before you eat the smaller piece.
That's just Mitch again.
Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
I'm fine.
This is a fucking...
Yeah, we should just keep that as a meme because I generally do that to myself in most situations where I have to use my brain.
We're
Just end up turning in circles consistently.
we're deeply in the weeds here.
Yes, we are.
All right, let's get to our picks real quick for the Valspar Championship this weekend. I'll go through mine. I've got Sam Burns, Sunjay M, and Tony Finau on the Bet365 app each way, 1 through 12. So you're getting paid. It's a 2-unit bet. You're getting paid on first place through 12th place. If they finish 10th or 11th and then it's outside of T12, it will get split up a little bit more. But Sam Burns, Sunjay M, Tony Finau, those are my guys this week. All kind of more of the favorites. Sam Burns is the second favorite. Xander Schauffele is the favorite of this event, according to the Bet365 app. But I'm taking Burns. He's won this tournament twice. And Sunjay M and Tony Finau are just kind of gut picks. It's supposed to be very windy. So I looked up strokes gained windy. That's actually a thing. And those are two of the guys.
That's because Tony Finau always wins like in Puerto Rico or fucking the Bahamas.
Well, he's going to win in fucking Tampa Bay or wherever this...
Innisbrook.
Innisbrook.
There you go. Okay, so you want to say strokes gained wind. who won the British Open last year.
It's called the Open Championship now.
What, dude?
with
I
it.
don't need to buy into that shit. Don't. My culture is not your costume, okay, dude. Brian Harmon, plus 1,400, Open Championship winner. You like that?
Nice.
You happy now?
Well done.
He played really well last week. Finished second place at a place that really didn't suit him. This golf course suits him more. Nick Taylor's just had a really good year so far this year, and I feel like he gets undervalued a lot because he's not talked about enough. So he's plus 2,500 each way, 1 through 12. Well, that 2,500 is to win, but then they chop it up. And then Adam Schenk, he finished in the top 5 here last year. He's just one of those dudes who you don't even know what his face looks like. He's just such a forgettable guy on the PGA Tour. But he has some pretty solid finishes here and there. I think he has 3 top 25s in 9 events this year. So not so hot to start the 2024 season, but he played well here last year. So I'm going to ride with that. Adam Schenk plus 3,500 each way, 1 through 12.
Love it. There's a winner on this card. We're going to say it again.
I didn't hear much conviction behind the love it.
No, it doesn't matter if I love it or not. At this point,
Yeah, no, I take that back. Say that you hate it.
I hate it. I hate all your picks.
I hate your card. You hate my card.
Your guys are going to shoot 7. You're not even going to have a guy make the cut.
Everybody's going to miss the cut.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, let's finish this week up with our segment of Fairway or Fore. I'll kick us off this week. So this is a golf-related one, surprisingly, but if you're a golfer, a person, now when I say a golfer, I mean somebody that plays golf consistently, hits balls, practices.
Dedicated golf.
Yeah, not like I show
Not a
up to
weekend
my
golfer.
Weekend golfer classifies here. I'm just saying like not somebody that shows up to a scramble and plays once or twice a year. Like this
Okay.
is a person that has their own golf clubs, their own golf bag. If you put your clubs in there willy-nilly and don't organize them, that's psychotic behavior. Fairway or Fore.
100%. Do you know what else gets me is and my girlfriend does this, and I try to fix it every time. She puts the woods in the bottom of the stand bag and then works the irons upward. That is not how a golf bag is meant to be constructed. You need to put the woods in the top. And there's actually a purpose for that, because when your woods are in the bottom of the bag, they're going to get clanged around by all the clubs hanging over the top of them. So your woods are going to get beat up for no reason. And, you're going to have scuff marks on the top of your driver, other than the ones that you put there yourself when you're swinging it. But it is definitely psychotic. And when our mom is a victim of that too. When I look at her golf bag, I'm like, it just stresses me out. There's no rhyme or reason. It's like, I don't make my bed every morning, but I have my golf bag organized. Do you make your bed every morning, Yaya?
I do. Every morning. I'm one of those people that I can't wake up. I can't leave my house if it's dirty.
We did as kids, but I'm just so over it. Like, you accumulate dust mites when you make your bed.
My thing is, I never did it as a kid. It was never a requirement for my parents.
So now we flip-flop.
Yeah, so now I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I gotta be organized.
I respect that. Do you make your bed?
Occasionally, like if it's like a week, I usually make my bed on the weekends, ironically, but not every single day, because I'm out of bed by like 5 a.m. and then when I get back home at that point, it's like, what's the point of making the bed?
That's what I'm saying. That it just doesn't make sense. You're just gonna sleep in it again tonight. But shout out you, Yaya. I respect it. There's definitely a self-discipline factor to it.
I have to wash the dishes before I leave the house. I need to vacuum before I leave the house, and I need to have my bed made before I leave the house.
Damn.
Or I cannot leave the house. I feel like bad.
Damn,
I
that's
respect
mad
that.
respect.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, so for my Fairway or Fore, this is going to be one that just happened about an hour ago. Do you lock a public bathroom when you're in it and it's like a one-holer?
Okay, for the record, here.
I walked in on Spencer, no lights on, in the office, door not locked.
Public bathroom is it's a work bathroom.
Okay, there's 20 plus people in this office.
Yeah,
You're lucky I walked in.
yeah. So I've had 2 people walk in now on me in the pisser, Mitchell and Joe Sakic. Those are the 2 people that have walked in.
Handshake me, Joe Sakic walking in on Spencer pissing.
Yeah, to me,
I hope that's what you're handshaking and not anything else. I hope that's what you're shaking.
high
we were
five
all
at the
shaking.
urinal.
We were
Yeah.
all shaking shit. For the record, to me, this is way deeper than it needs to be. I treat people how I want them to treat me. So
but this is
listen.
the classic example, because you don't expect somebody to walk in on you pissing. doesn't mean
Yes, because I'll literally sit there for 20 minutes if our one-holer doors is closed. If the door's closed, I'm not going in there, no matter what.
But
I'm not even
you
opening
can grab
it.
the handle and see if it's locked or not.
No, I'm not going to do
generally
that.
what people do when they take a piss.
No, if there's one hole in the bathroom, somebody's in there, the door's closed, somebody's not, the door's open.
Do you realize that people close the door after they use the bathroom if they like took a dump? 'Cause
You
it
shouldn't-
smells.
Well, yeah,
don't
but
want
you
it to
shouldn't
air
do
out
that
in the
at
fucking office.
You shouldn't do that
Yeah,
at
yeah.
work.
The rule should be you don't dump in the office, honestly,
Well,
to begin with.
Oh, dude,
That should be that's the right because we have a very small office.
Like I want to shit at home 100%, but I'm saying there is certain circumstances where that's not an option. But can you settle this for us? Because Spencer lives by this mantra of I treat you the way I want to be treated, but that doesn't mean that everybody else is going to treat him exactly the way he. And it doesn't even go that deep. But.
So the thing is, I kind of agree with Spencer. If the door's locked, you shouldn't be even like
Locked.
trying to open it.
It wasn't locked.
If the door's
Closed.
closed, you shouldn't even be looking at it. Like I'm the same way. If it's closed, I'm not even thinking of going in there until it's open.
Yep.
But I still, when I go in there, I lock it because not everybody thinks that way. And some people just like I do it because like I still don't trust anybody. But for me personally, if it's closed, I still don't go in. But I still lock it when I piss. That's weird.
So
Not
do you
like-
sit outside of the bathroom for like 15, 20 minutes to see if somebody comes out to see if it's good
Yeah,
to piss?
Yeah.
And if they don't, then I'll knock, and then I'm like, "Is anybody in there?" And nobody's in there. Then I'll go in. Like that's trying to like put somebody else in a respectful place. Because I don't like being knocked on when I'm taking a shit or when I'm pissing. I'm like, let me do this in peace. This is like the only 3 minutes I have
Right.
to just focus on one thing.
Right.
So let me have it without anybody pressuring me, and I don't like to do the same to others.
Yeah, so
Think of how much time you've wasted sitting outside of a pisser.
I'm working while I'm waiting. Like that's the thing.
Well, you're on the clock, but I'm saying like in your life, like you sleep so many years, 10, 15, 20 years of your life. How many years have you wasted standing outside of a closed door with nobody in the pisser waiting to see if somebody comes out?
probably a good hour, 2 hours of my
yeah,
life. But it's just
kind of. It hasn't been that long. Where I'm in this situation.
yeah, and I think
My brother's
this
in
actually,
Christ.
This
I
actually
don't
might.
think this is a legitimate thing.
No, you're now
I
outnumbered
think we
here.
need
I
a
think
bigger sample size.
okay, we're gonna put this on Twitter and we're gonna put it on Instagram too, just so we get enough votes. I think this maybe stems from like an issue I had in fourth grade where we had one bathroom in the fourth grade classroom. Women and men could go in there. And I
Boys and girls.
opened the door. It was like the rules of the bathroom. The first one was always knock, but then they wrote above that, always lock the door. And so technically the first rule now was always lock the door. Well, I went and straight up opened it when it was closed. Girl in there, going to the bathroom, fourth grade, holy shit, slam the door. Now I never open a one toilet bathroom without knowing the door, if the door's open or not.
Do you stand outside of a porta potty if it's unlocked? And
That's not fair because you can see.
it's the same thing.
You can see.
You can see.
You can see.
How can you
If
see?
It's green or red.
Okay,
Yeah.
but how many times you walked in on somebody in a porta potty that didn't lock the door?
Never.
and-
I've never done that actually.
Yeah.
You're fucking lying.
I actually don't go to porta potties. Even when I worked in
Liars.
construction, I don't go to porta potties.
You're so. Well, I mean, porta potties are naturally the scum of the earth. Like they're the most disgusting thing on this planet. But don't you fucking lie to me. You've walked in on somebody in a porta potty because they didn't lock the door, and you could have stood there and waited for 5 minutes at the waste management. How many times do you think people walk in on other people because they didn't lock the fucking door? I don't understand what planet you guys are on with this take.
I'm
I
on
will-
both of them. Like
Yeah,
you should still lock the door.
I will
but
admit,
I also should wait.
yes, I will admit you should lock the door. But if you just go up to a door that's closed, you don't just assume it's ready for you. You assume somebody's in there.
I assume that somebody just took a shit and they don't want it to waft throughout the office.
I
It
also,
smells-
if
it's
that's
worse-
the case, I'd rather not go in there and
Yeah,
wait 10,
exactly.
20 minutes.
I might as well
But
just
if you
go to
gotta take
another
a
one.
piss, you got to take a piss.
We have
Yeah.
plenty of bathrooms in this office.
Yeah,
I know, which is
I'll
another one.
just go downstairs.
We need to end this podcast because I'm miffed. I am taken aback by this conversation.
Yeah. All right. That wraps it up for us for this week. Tune in to Big Drive Energy Monday. We'll be recapping the Valspar. Hopefully one of our players wins it. Make sure to follow us on all the socials at Big Drive Spence on Twitter, at Big Drive Mitch on Twitter.
Shout out Yaya.
Shout out
You're the man.
Yaya
Thank
for
you.
producing today. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the pronunciations. at Big Drive Energy on TikTok and Twitter, Big Drive Energy Pod on Instagram. Make sure you're following. If you're liking this podcast or you're enjoying it, give us a subscribe, thumbs up, like on the episode. We appreciate all of that. We appreciate all of you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Valspar. Maybe go play some golf yourself wherever you're at. It's nice here, so I'm going to try to get out. I don't know about you, but simulator golf works too if you're in a state or city where it's cold. Just get out there and swing it. It's about to be full-on summertime where everybody's golfing, so we're getting close. Masters is right around the corner. It's a good time for golf. All right, we're out.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.